Hi guys, Andy again. I'm at Pete Waterman's Leamington Spa layout. If you recall, the last video that we did was on the town centre, and I think quite a number of you have enjoyed that. It's coming on leaps and bounds. I don't suppose it'll be very long now before it's finished. But as I said in the last video, what I want to do now is to look in more detail at the stations, and there are 3 stations in total on the layout. One of which is on the other side, which is Brinklow, which we'll come to on another video. But the 2 I'm concentrating on today is the Great Western one, effectively, which is Leamington General, which still exists today. It's a listed building, and also on the other side, which is Leamington Avenue, which was the Midland station, which up until, I believe, and I stand to be corrected, either the very early 60s or 1960 itself, when it was demolished, like so many LMS stations. Certainly where I come from, Gloucester, there were always 2 stations there. There was Central and there was Eastgate, Eastgate being the LMS station. That's no longer there, and I suspect probably like Eastgate station, what was the Leamington Avenue is now a supermarket and or car park, or a combination of the 2. So we'll go in some detail, showing you some nice close-up images of the work that's been done to achieve the model thus far. I've got a couple of locos running. I've got a pair of Class 20s, or as I used to call them when I was spotting, Type 1s, English Electric Type 1s. And I'll show you those as they trundle around. They're lugging a short rake of mineral wagons, full mineral wagons with coal, with a brake van on the end, and perhaps we'll get 1 or 2 other locos running as well at the same time. So it's not making that much noise. They don't have sound, unfortunately, which is a shame, because for those of you that know the Type 1s, and that's probably all of you, they do make quite a unique sound. So we'll get started, and I'll start focusing on some of the details of the station. Let's go. So it's probably best starting off with a front-on view showing the entrance to the station, which is as depicted in the late 50s stroke very early 60s, but many of you that are familiar with the station today will see very many similarities, and it's not changed a great deal. It's an Art Deco building, which, as I said earlier, is listed. I'll just zoom in slightly on the entrance, and that gives you some idea of the level of Art Deco detail that's been achieved, both on the entrance doors, and when I show you the other side of the platforms, you'll see entrances to the restaurant and waiting rooms, etc., etc. Interestingly enough, if I just pan out again, the marble facade that adorns the bottom, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet, I suppose, of the station walls there, some of it's ripped actually, and that needs to be replaced. That was actually done in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, for those of you that are familiar with Creative Suite, and they're actually photographs that I took of the actual marble facade at Leamington. They were scaled down in size and then printed, and I think the representation is actually quite good. In fact, I think it's very good, to be perfectly honest, without blowing my own trumpet. But if I zoom out and scan across, you'll see more details of the layout. You can probably hear that, those Type 1s zooming around. Well, not zooming, they're just making their own way around. Alright, so all of this exists today, and the building itself is, and again I stand to be corrected, has been made to exacting plans by a company called Lasercraft Devon, and there were innumerate people involved in the construction of the building, not least of which would be obviously Pete Waterman himself, Steve Fay, Paul Hanna, Michelle Davidson, Arthur McGee, Dave Burns. I had little bits and pieces to do with the platform. Ted Canis, bless him, who glazed and installed every single window. In fact, if I take the camera off the tripod and zoom round this way by hand, it's probably easier if I do it this way, and I know I've done it before, but you can see the number of windows that have been installed, and they've been painstakingly glazed by Ted, who's a fantastic modeller, super person as well, and his son Yarrick is also a bit of a clever so-and-so, because he uses 3D CAD drawings to create files that can then be 3D printed. So for example, the ones that Yarrick has done are the ones there, the Leamington Spa General Station sign, as well as the entrance sign underneath there. You'll also note, and it's these little things that really do it for me, is that you've got a scissor gate there, which if I just move this vehicle out of the way, I better zoom in on that, maybe not, I don't know if I get a decent shot of it. But you've got a scissor gate there, and I'm not sure whether anybody else actually produces those. They can be reproduced if anybody's interested. They're actually quite expensive to do a one-off. They're probably about 30 or 40 quid, but depending on the size, they can be reproduced. If I come up onto the roof, you've got the glazed skylights, and even the texture of the roof surface itself has been painstakingly reproduced. Yet more chimney pots. I'm sure he must see those in his sleep and get fed up to the back teeth with them. Nice little details are the bicycles on the outside. You've got motorcycles here, which will be for delivering and receiving telegrams, etc., etc. And on the other side, you see a selection of cars parked. That's just representative, and through there, that would be, in fact is today, that would be the entrance to the other platforms, through going underneath the actual main line there. Okay, so these Leamington Spa General platform signs again have been created by Yarrick. They're 3D printed, and the platform surface itself, that's been done relatively recently. That was done using Southeast Fine Cast O-scale plasticard, which has been painted, and it's been cut and installed. This is the bit that I helped on, so I can't take a great deal of credit, but I did enjoy doing it. And then on the other side, I'll show you the middle platform there, with waiting rooms, etc., etc. You've got the quite iconic canopy peg there, which again is operated via servos, and I'll try and get an image of that later on. And you've even got things like these sug lamps. Now these are unbelievably delicate items. They were created on the digital SLA machine, which I've said previously is no longer here, but they were created from original plans, and that's the Sug Rochester, I believe, and they're quite prototypical of what would have been installed in the era that is being modelled, so sort of mid-late 50s, etc., etc. And they are so delicate, as you can see there. We've got a broken one on the floor, and they can't be repaired, so they would have to be reprinted, I suppose, but at the moment that's laying there looking pretty sorry for itself. So here you've got platforms 1, 2 and 3. These are currently homes to the, I think these are easy build kits. That's a single unit bubble car, then you've got a 3-car DMU there. Nicely there, signed Snow Hill, and I think at the other end it says, there we go, Leamington Spa. Very nice. So I'm just moving some of the platform furniture out of the way there. We've got platform 1, 2, 3. The main platform, i.e. there, is platform 4. Then over the other side, which is over there, which is platform 5 and 6. In fact, if I just zoom in to some of those Art Deco items that I spoke about earlier, they are quite brilliant, and they are there today. These are, again, items that are strict one-offs, and they've been created using 3D printing technology, but I think you'll agree they look absolutely brilliant, and exact facsimiles of what, as I said, of what are still there to this very day. I'm not sure whether I can see the refreshment sign or not. In fact, it may not even be there now, so I'll have another look at that. That gives you a good idea of the canopy mounted peg. Other details are done on the layout, obviously, which again it's not finished yet, not by any means. So, and with the number of people that come and visit, there are often items that have been broken off or need refixing and stuff like that. So, or weathering, as is the case with this telephone box. So, what I'll do now is I'll go over the other side of the layout and show you the platform side, looking from over there, which is a view that perhaps you're not that familiar with. All right, I'll do that now. So this is the view from the other side of the layout. This is, I basically crawled underneath the baseboards now. This is platform side, so this is platform 4, and platform 4, and then on this side, which is along here, and the other side there, that's 5 and 6. And I believe to this day, the only bit of that is still there now is this line here. See my finger? That line there is basically just a siding now. So everything from this way back is no longer there. I'll get these Class 20s coming over the girder bridge as well now. Might as well now, mate. Look over there. If I live and breathe, the Class 17. And rather prototypically, it's not moving, as they had a tendency to do, or not to do. It's got two of these. One's weathered, one's not. That one's the weathered one, which looks great. I don't know if anybody else actually does a kit for those, but it's very nice. Forgive the shaky camera work, but as I said before, I'm learning as I'm going. So whilst I'm over here, I'll show you some other details, because this is now effectively, this is the Midland line here. So again, you've got storage for brake vans. There's an oil store there, which again is exactly as it was. You've got, obviously going down there, you've got the LMS line, and that goes via the town centre over the girder bridge again. And then over here, over here you've got 3F 43361 with a short rake of what look like X-Works fitted mineral wagons. So I dare say at some point they'll get weathered to within an inch of their lives. This is a nice, I'll take that off there. This is a nice little feature, and this was again constructed by Messrs McGee and Burns, and it's really nice. Obviously it's a ground mounted lever frame, and it's really nicely done. The little details like this, and the Leamington, just limbo behind these trees. So you've got the Leamington Spa Avenue platform names. Those again have been 3D printed. You've got the iconic footbridge, which as a one-off, it's been scratch built in brass of all things, and it's again very impressive. Now this building here is a resin building. Its manufacturer stroke builder, I have not got a clue, but if you look at any photographs of this avenue building back in the day, this is precisely what it is like, And in fact, over on that platform, which is that one there is a small building being constructed. In fact, it's over there. If I zoom across, you can barely see it actually if I zoom in. There we are, it's been taken off and is being worked on now. So that has got things like ladies and gents' loos, a waiting room, and it's also got a porter's office, but that is being worked on as we speak. So that would normally reside on the middle platform, or island platform if you like, on the Avenue station, which is, as I said, there. In fact, there's the end of it over there. And interestingly enough, that area here where there are two sidings, in fact, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll get back under the layout again and I'll film it from there because it's a lot easier. So there's obviously some point rodding work going along here because it appears to have been ripped up, and whether it's going to be recycled and reused elsewhere on the layout, I have not got a clue. But this area here originally was only one siding, and probably a number of years ago now, Pete came in and decided actually that's wrong, it should be two sidings, hence 1, 2. So we decided to rip up, it's his train set after all, decided to rip up all of this, none of this was there, have a new turnout fitted there and here, so that you could get both this siding in, this one, and those two over there. So that is now actually as it was. There were two sidings here, and this horse landing was created, and it's now been textured. You've got some cobbles there and some granite sets and whatnot. So again, this is rarely used. It's normally storage for that bubble car actually, so that's obviously been moved out for a reason. Maybe something to do with this point rodding that's been removed. The signal box again has been scratch built. That hasn't been worked on for ages. The shell has been created, the facade has been created, and I think Michelle Davidson is working on it. But as you can clearly see, there's a lot of work to be done there. But that will be sorted. The original one that was there was incorrect, so that's now been done. And whilst that was being done, whilst this track work was being done, I believe Les Fram sorted out the diamond crossing there, because that was causing problems for certain diesel locos that would fall off depending on how fast they were going, which is not very good, as you can imagine. So that gives you an idea of the avenue. As I said, it's no longer there now, which is a real shame, but that's what some people call progress, I suppose. I don't know. But it's a super building, and if you do get the opportunity to come to the layout, and you're, as I've said before, lithe enough, nimble enough, and are able to limber under the baseboards, then there are some views that you simply won't see from standing in the main viewing area. So it's, I mean, I would encourage you to bring your cameras, bring a video camera, and have a really good look round. In fact, if I go over there, there's that Clayton in all of its non-moving, broken down, I suppose, glory. But nevertheless, a great model. It's a nice shot actually whilst I'm over here of Leamington approaches, which we did on an earlier video, but looking at it from this side, you just get a slightly different perspective. That's where the Midland Line goes, which emerges heading towards Brinklow. For those of you that have watched videos that the likes of Dave Cooper have produced and wonder what happens to the loco when it goes under there, that's where it goes. Okay, so quite a few resident locos here. Another one over there. Again, that's weathered but rarely run. In fact, that is normally in platform 2 on Leamington General, with the rake of coal wagons that these two Type 1s are lugging around at the moment. So I must make a point of putting that back. There's Campaigns, what was Campaigns, 8F, which has been beautifully weathered, really sympathetically done, not overdone. You know, rust where there's supposed to be rust, lime scale where there's supposed to be lime scale, oil where there's supposed to be oil, and yeah, just a lovely model. Those of you that have seen his Kendale layout, as Wiles, would have seen this running there. Beautiful model, absolutely superb. Another view of the facade, or the entrance if you like, to Leamington Avenue, panning back. There's public toilets there. As you can see, the horse landing's fenced off. So what we also have as part of the station buildings is the goods shed, which I think is actually still in existence today, although it's obviously not a goods shed anymore. I don't know whether it's a furniture removal company's premises, but I know it's still there, and is visible from the end of the platform when you look up. So again, this needs a little bit of weathering doing to it. It's an exact copy of what's there, and if you look on the other side, you've got fence work and lamps as well. I don't know whether I can get a shot of the inside. I'll try. Probably not visible actually from here. I've got no light. Yeah, and a range of period vehicles, just making the look complete. But yeah, so there's no stone unturned really when it comes to the buildings. If the building was there at the time, then the building is created, and if it's not created, then it gets drawn on 3D and it'll get laser cut. So a little bit like the signal boxes, they were all there. What else have we got? That's pretty much it really. In fact, let me show you this. Let me show you this part of the Avenue Island platform building that's being worked on as we speak now. A lot of work going into this, as you can see. When it's going to get worked on next, I don't know. Pretty soon, I would think. Nice corbelling at the end there, which is nice. So yeah, so I know Michelle Davidson and Pete have worked long and hard on this, so look forward to seeing that on the layout pretty soon. So now's the time to put the rake that the Type 1s have been lugging around back in their siding, so I'll just change the point over. And back they come. So, whilst I've got a few minutes, we now need to bring those two double heading Type 1s from the main line all the way back, and I'll walk this way, down to and into the engine shed, and we'll nestle just in front of that Class 35 high neck over there. So the first thing we need to do is to get this crossover, that's that one there, sorted, and then fortunately these work in tandem, so there's no need to throw two. As you throw one, the other one will go automatically, and I believe that is number 16, so I'm multitasking here. Hold on a minute. That's 16, so that's not only set that one, but it's set that one over there, and I believe the point into the engine shed road, which is that one there, has already been set, so we'll bring it back and see how we get on. So guys, I hope you found this video on the stations of interest. Again, apologies for the shaky camera work sometimes, but as I've said previously, I'm finding out as I'm going along. I don't have a lot of time today, so hence it's probably a little bit shorter than would normally be, but I think it gives you an overview of what the buildings are like, how they were back in the late 50s stroke early 60s. Hope you enjoyed the running of the 22 and some of the images of the other locomotives as well. Again, as I said previously, if there's anything that you want to see running, or you want to focus on something that perhaps I either haven't paid any attention to or haven't devoted sufficient time to, please let me know. Either send an email via the website or put a comment on the YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the bell and subscribe. And the next video I'll do will be the engine shed, the coaling stage, and the area where the turntable is going to go. Give you a good insight into what locomotives reside there, and what the next stage is for that particular area. So thanks for watching. See you soon guys. Thanks very much.